Hello everyone and welcome back to the PlayVS California Cup in conjunction with the CIF Esports Initiative. I am Perino. I am joined by my co-caster Audio. This is the moment we've been waiting for, Audio. Grand Finals coming up next.
Absolutely. We had a pretty stellar third place match where it was admittedly pretty much a 2-0 stop. We saw some crazy Kaisa play between the Blue Barons and the BMHS Esports. But now we're on to the big match. It's BMHS Knights versus Sunny Hills Lancers Gold. Only one of them can sit there as the grand winner of the 2020 California Cup. And I hope that we are in for a close competitive series.
Yes, these two teams have been waiting for their chance to play in the spot. We saw them both earlier today. Bishop Montgomery coming in with a 2-1 victory. Sunny Hills coming in on a 2-0 victory. And I have to say, I watched both those games. I think we are in for an epic clash here. We have two teams who have been rearing to go. They've been patiently waiting for this point. It seems like forever ago. We were at the top of the broadcast, with these semifinal games, but we are waiting no longer. We are here. Grand final. Bishop Montgomery, Sunny Hills. Who takes it down?
I mean, that's a question that we can't quite answer just yet. These are obviously the top two teams, and when we're talking about them, let's take a look at some of these players themselves. I love when we get these kind of stats. You can see, what their future plans are. Some of these players want to actually go on to play for professional teams, and this is an amazing step on that journey. And it's something that, platform like this that PlayVS and the California Cup have put for these players is the way that they can kickstart that career. So some of them don't want to go pro, and this is just a really awesome way to compete with their friends and just show off something that they're talented at and that they're passionate for. So really awesome players that we love to welcome back to these events every single time.
Absolutely. It is such a joy to watch these young men and women compete at a high level and go after it as we see the two rosters there. I'm so excited for this matchup. From what we saw earlier today, I have my eye on two players. And there's one player from each team that I want to take a look at. I'm going to start on the side of Bishop Montgomery. And I'm looking in the bottom lane at the AD carry position. Rokid went absolutely haywire in their two victories in the semifinal. We saw an amazing Ezreal, a beautiful Tristana come out. I think the Ezreal game, he something like 14-0-5. Absolute monster there in the bottom lane. I'm looking for Rokid, but then on the flip side, for Sunny Hills, again, on the games that we saw today, I'm looking at the mid lane. I'm looking at Jenny A on the Diana, on the Corki. Again, two massive performances there to help Sunny Hills get to this point. Both of these players, I think, can turn the tide for their team.
We've seen already today what one single player can do to affect not only a game, but a whole series. We've seen so many pop-offs. We've seen double pentas tonight. Back-to-back. Not back-to-back games, just like back-to-back in one game, double pentas, which is absolutely bonkers. So for any player could be the next one to get a penta. I can't wait to see the star players on either side. Whatever lane they may come from, I'm sure we're in for an incredible series.
Oh, I have no doubt about it. Again, these two teams have battled their way through this tournament bracket to get here. We saw a look at that earlier, just the depth of field, right? How many teams were in this competition at the start? There are only two remaining. And I just can't wait to see what they bring out. We've seen already some interesting compositions, come out early. I think we're probably going to get more of it if I had to take a guess, but we'll see. I think we're in for a good one here.
So what do you think the off-meta pick is going to be for this series? My bet's on the Soraka top.
Ooh, if I had to do an off-meta pick, I think it might come in the mid lane. I want to see something like something crazy. I don't know. Maybe get like an Ornn mid or something. You know, just go for the big beefy boy up in front and center. I'll
The
put
tank
my
bruiser mage burst assassin DPS tank.
Yes, that one. The portable item shop.
200 years of combined gaming experience was the product of that one. Hoping to get into the game soon here. But I said it in the series before as well, but it really comes from a very diverse meta that we have currently in the game. Everything is viable. We have people coming up with brand new strats every single day, even at the very highest level of the game, the World Championships. You know, you see teams from China coming out with these brand new strats to just shock the world. It's something that all teams strive to emulate now, and something these teams will look to do here today as we're going to be getting into the draft phase.
Yes, we will see the decisions that each team will make regarding their champion pools, how they go about doing it. This is always one of the most compelling phases of the game, going in and seeing what you're going to start with, what you're going to take away, and immediately Sunny Hills will target that bottom lane. And they must have saw the Ezreal performance out of Roadkid earlier, because Ezreal's the first off the board.
Yep, you talked about his performance on that champion, and it seems like we're going to be having a bit of a trend of ADC bans. I expect with having the first pick on the blue side, Sunny Hills will probably grab a marksman for Sun Chang. We'll see what they go for. When you're thinking of the very strong marksman on the board right now, obviously Aphelios is one of the biggest ones. Misfortune as well if you're looking for a lot of team fight. The Callista is on the table, but the Targ was banned away. You can still pair something like a Set in there if you want to get aggressive. And then obviously, you know, there's the whole bucket of mages to throw in there if you want to go that route. So what will Sunny Hills prioritize?
So we get the last set of bans, of course. Bishop Montgomery removing the Varus, Graves, and Thresh. Meanwhile, Sunny Hills taking away Ezreal, Tarek, and Zach. But the first pick for Sunny Hills will be that Set that you mentioned. So there you go. Speak it into existence, Mr. Casterman.
Yeah, I think this is a really smart pick for them. It's going to give over Yuumi, which I think was probably one of the strongest of the power picks on the table, especially coupled with that Kindred. It's going to make it very difficult for Sunny Hills to find the takedowns. But grabbing the Set first opens up a lot of options. It kind of hides your draft. It could go top lane. It could flex down to a support. Locking in that Senna means it's probably going to be a top lane Set blind picked into Bishop Montgomery, and that will most likely be a Wukong jungle to go against the Kindred.
Yes, Wukong, another spin to win champion there, just making some clones of themselves. He was very, very strong recently, about a patch or two ago. He's been somewhat taken now, but obviously still very, very good champion to have available to you. We will probably see him in the jungle, as you mentioned. And yeah, that's a really nice pick. I like that. Going into the next set of bans, already looks like we're taking Maokai, Yasuo, Ornn off the board. So my Ornn pick doesn't come through. I'm a little upset.
Sunny Hills notice what Bishop Montgomery is doing here with all of the defenses they've just packed into this first half of the draft phase. They're banning out some of the big beefy front lines that could further just bolster up this Kindred plus X, whatever hyper carry they want to draft for this composition. So Montgomery are going a very safe, very late game, protect the carry-oriented style of gameplay. Sunny Hills wanting to get a bit more aggressive with the diving champions. There's a Soraka. I don't think it might actually be this. Okay, so I'm a bit confused here, to be honest. You hear me stuttering and stammering. You see two supports here. My guess at this composition is a Soraka top. We're going to be seeing a Set plus Senna in the bottom lane, Wukong jungle, maybe Aatrox mid. I don't know. Honestly, this draft could go anywhere.
I like it, and I think our graphic matches your analysis there. It is going to be Senna Set in that bottom lane, so already interesting, but is that a Soraka middle? Ooh.
Yeah, the Soraka top is the more meta flex, I guess. Usually going up against a mobile top laner, such as a tank. But when they see that Karma mid coming through, they opted to just go for the supportal combat in the mid lane, and they're going to try the Soraka mid as well. Both champions are going to have similar win conditions in that lane, and that's just going to be to survive the laning phase and make it to their item spikes. Support items are relatively cheap compared to other roles, where they can then group up with team fights and use those item spikes to, tilt the fights in their favor. I expect us to see a really passive mid lane. If both of them just want to survive and get to those items, there shouldn't really be any reason for them to interact with each other, which is a weird dynamic to have in the mid lane.
I was going to say, particularly in the mid lane, where we expect a lot of early skirmishes, we anticipate a lot of roams. I think we may see some of that there, where it is now basically turned into Farmville in the mid lane. So I like it. I mean, I think you're matching 1 for 1, right? This is a lot of what we talk about as well, where in game number 1, this is where you want to try things that aren't necessarily standard or things that may be unexpected. So yeah, I think this is a very interesting composition, particularly for Sunny Hills, but I think if they can get it rolling, you get that Wukong diving in there, aided by the Soraka. You can have Set jumping in front as well with the Aatrox. And, there's just a bunch of
Kindred
big, beefy
ADC,
bruises.
by the way. Hate to cut you off. I just want to jump in there quick. This is a Kindred ADC. I think this is actually significantly weaker than Kindred Jungle because you have much more limited access to the marks that, after the first one, which is a 50-50, if it doesn't spawn top, then you're kind of out of luck. It's hard to pick those up throughout the game. So that'll be the struggle for the bot laners of Bishop Montgomery. Will they be able to overcome it? The first game of the grand finals is underway. And here we go.
Oh my, we're going to get some fireworks early here as the invade is going to get caught. There's 2 5-man stacks right here, and it's already a first take up on the way of Barrack. Here we go again, the level 1 engage is so strong. G-Name's taking another flash over the wall going after Roadkid. Immediately a strong start for Sunny Valley. They jump in with 2 takedowns right away. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Didn't expect that one. I don't think Bishop did either. You see 2 flashes coming in, and that's just what we call a solo queue level 1, where something like that happens. You get caught off guard. You're maybe a couple seconds late to warding that brush. It happened so fast, you didn't even really get to see what went on. But at the end of it all, it's 2 takedowns for Sunny Valley, 1 to the top laner, 1 to the Soraka mid. And that's going to be 2 lanes now where they're going to have the early advantage, at least for the first couple levels. It's going to give Cam a lot of breathing room as to where he wants to go.
It was interesting because as we came into the game, we see the 5-man stack going top. We see Bishop waiting in the jungle, and it was almost like watching a train wreck in slow motion. I mean, not that it was a train wreck of a fight, but just in the sense like it's just this inevitable collision of 2 teams going right at it, and that is, well, that's one way to start off your grand final. But I love it for Sunny Hills. They just get 2 takedowns right off the top. They had to burn some summoners, but hey, great start.
I realize I might have misspoke. Sunny Hills, not Sunny Valley. Apologize to Sunny Hills. Did not mean to mistake your name. But yeah, incredible start for them. They get to play this laning phase out 1,000 gold up, just under 3 minutes in. And you can already see the effects of it, that Soraka can just spam out that star call, continually keep the wave right in front of her turret, where normally she would just get immediately shoved in because of those extra fairy charms that she got, extra mana regen.
Should prove to be the advantage there as well. The other point as well is that our scoreboards don't even necessarily align with the changes the players have made to their lanes. We can see, of course, the Karma has shifted to the top side as champ. Struggling a little bit with Barrack here, who's lurking on that Aatrox again, already 1-0-1. do have to be careful, but you know, already some interesting positional moves here in the lanes.
It definitely is, and see the engage there. Here comes Rek'Sai.
Oh, here we go. Javine's gonna try and shut down the Rek'Sai. Soon Chang will pick up one, but Javine will lose his life as well. It's gonna be a double teleport in for the top lane as well. Here we go. Dinier is there as well. Barrick picks up one on the Rokid, and oh my goodness, Kaku is to barely get away from that. So aggressive, so dynamic earlier, Sunny Hills. They do clean that one up there.
Wow.
Already,
once again,
major source of fireworks.
Sunny Hills are going to come out very far ahead on that one. And it all started off with ZXC getting a bit aggressive. He comes in to try to gank the bottom lane. He wants to relieve the pressure that Rokid and False have been under, but they were just too strong. The set is deceptively tanky when you're trying to take him down. He can use that Haymaker, get a massive shield back, and do a large amount of burst damage. And that was what started it off for Sunny Hills, is they were able to turn that takedown around onto the jungler. And after that, it just seemed like Bishop piled on the members. They teleported him in, they brought him down. They tried to commit everybody to that play, but it had already been lost. And it just kept going Sunny Hills' way. Now, they are sitting even more comfortably in the bottom lane, which is the one lane that didn't benefit from the early play. So they kind of have victories all over the map now.
They certainly do. As we pan across our lanes now, the first dragon I want to bring up is an Infernal, so very interesting already again in terms of, you know, how that might benefit one team or the other. The extra little tiny bit of damage that you get from those drakes can prove very pivotal, especially when these fights are so close.
Typically, the early Infernal Dragons don't provide too much benefit, as the percentage stack on the low amount of stats you're going to have in the early game amounts to, you know, maybe less than a Doran's shield or sorry, a Doran's blade. We have action in the bottom lane.
We have action in both the top of the bottom lane there is already
False alarm. Everybody hops away to safety.
Feeling the pressure, but
we do see right now, Cam has been able to get a pretty large CS lead over the Rek'Sai, probably because all of his lanes have been winning.
Oh, here we go. Javine flashes in on a Rokid, who's in trouble. The Yumi Zumis might keep him alive just for a little bit. The gank was coming through. But good job there from False to keep his AD carry alive, as now Varric trying to get on top of Champ, but that little extra bit of CC will certainly keep the karma in the game. And Rokid already feeling the pressure.
In the end, he's going to go flash for flash between support and ADC. Plus, they got the heal out of Yumi as well, so it was a low amount of commitment from Sunny Hills, and it just means that Bishop is now vulnerable to that same thing happening in the bot side. If they can land that CC once again, then the Kindred, especially if she does not hit level 6 off this wave, is going to have no tools left to defend herself.
So dangerous. Already are Sunny Hills. Pressure really across the board here, but take a look at this mid lane. There is a monster waiting in the bushes, but no gank will come through for now. Jinier on that Soraka, perhaps aware of it, is at least playing on the other side, and so much patience being demonstrated by the jungler, but here they go. Rek'Sai looking, but definitely caught out.
You've seen Jenny do a really good job getting lead in that lane as a Soraka.
Oh, but here we go. Barrick in the top lane might actually take that Champ. Well, that's close, but
almost a solo takedown on the top side. Champ has been struggling. Going up against that Soraka, we talked about how support v support was probably not going to be a lot of action. But when one of those supports gets a large influx of gold early on, it just allows them to bully the other one. So Champ having now to flash away. Cam wants it.
Cam is going to go in and find the takedown there, but he's tanking turret shots and he's trying to get away from ZXC on the rec side, who will clean that up. It is at least a 1-for-1 even trade. Oh, but Barrick's waiting in the bush. Oh, but he doesn't land it initially. Doesn't matter though. So strong. Make it 2-for-1 there, Sunny Hills.
And ZXC burnt flash on the back end of that as well. That's really bad for them. Going to be a 2-for-1 favor of Sunny Hills. Aatrox can now slowly crash that wave into the turret as well, so that when Champ does re-arrive, he is going to get pressure to try to get some of that farm. And that's just going to be another way to solidify what is already a fantastic beginning from Sunny Hills. They have really just kind of taken control of the map.
The other problem as well, of course, with that takedown is you get the double buff transfer over to Barrick on that Aatrox, so he is now very, very strong in that top lane. You can see both the blue and the red markers underneath, indicating the blue and the red buff respectively. And Barrick will try to press the advantage as much as he can. Nice dodge there.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good job. Champ is falling pretty low already, burning through both of those refillable potions that he brought from base, and he only just returned. So the double buffs are proving problematic for the mid laner slash support for Bishop Montgomery. He's just doing his best to try to pick up some minions under the tower. Meanwhile, Jenny is coming up to turn what might be any aggression around. The only objective on the table currently is the Rift Heralds, so I would expect Sunny Hills to be the one to try to play around that if they even want to commit resources to it. I think it'd be a very good way to open up this top side, but they don't seem to be very prone to making proactive plays in the last couple minutes.
They've certainly been put on the back foot. You can see a little bit of action going on here mid lane. Kaku trying to get some damage done onto Jenny A, but it's not happening yet. Wukong, of course, lurking over the top side of that lane. Certainly threatening a takedown, but nothing coming yet. Smartly played by both, just to step aside and not go too crazy on an engagement there.
Yeah, nothing really panning out. Really seeing a lot of a lack of action from both sides of these squads. Just now, Cam is going to be starting up this Rift Herald tier. He has 1-1-4 on the Wukong. Slight CS advantage over his opponent. Barrick, he just wants to grab this turret plate money. That is 160 gold. Basically an assist into his pocket right there. Just for a couple auto attacks. Took a Mantra Q to the face, but we'll trade that over happily. This bottom lane is not working out too well for Bishop. Rocket is about 15 CS behind the set, which is going to be his farming counterpart in that lane, and isn't going to really have any stacks. I can't actually check at this moment, but I would assume 1 at maximum, because he hasn't really been able to leave that lane much. Teleport going to be coming in. They want to group around this dragon.
Oh, and here we go. ZXC is actually going in on Jenny A. Oh, and a flash over the wall by Javine. Going to try and help as well. Javine will get the credit there as they continue to push their advantage. Sunny Hills, Barrett going for the solo takedown attempt on the champ, but only finds the Wrath of the Tower topside. So it will be Sunny Hills now positioned on top of that dragon. They will be setting up to take it, and it will be theirs.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say at this point. Just another great play. ZXC is going to go down there. Champ is going to go back to getting bullied up in this top side. And more objectives the way of Sunny Hills just means more power in their pocket. Barrick wants to test his strength there against Champ, and it doesn't really work out. He's able to just walk away from that one. So Barrick no longer going to have that ultimate, which means he will go back to base and reset. Let that wave go back to normal.
You get another gank coming into the mid lane here. Cam is just spinning and dealing the damage. Jenny A gets the credit in the mid lane. The gank comes through for Sunny Hills, and they are rapidly rolling this game forward in their favor.
Nice combination of the CC there between Jenny and Cam, layering down the silence and then making sure to wait until the silence ended before he popped the Wukong ultimate. Making sure there's maximum amount of time that Kaku could not use his flash. Didn't even get a chance. He had both summoners, wasn't able to get away. And with all this gold going into their pockets, Sunny Hills really feels like they should be further ahead, and they actually are. They haven't been able to break down any structures. Although Barrick's working on it, flash forward. Just barely.
Barrick may chase this out, but electing not to do so. Champ just running far away, wanting nothing to do with that Aatrox now, as the problems further compound themselves. That will be the Rift Herald dropped in the top lane as well, so already threatening that interior turret.
Yep, that was the correct play by Sunny Hills. They may not be making a lot of proactive plays, but they are sure making the correct ones.
Oh, here we go, though. Another 2-2 in the mid lane, as Cam is going to get slain by Kaku, who continues to push on with that rumble. And Jenny running, trying, but is slowed. Both of them are so low. Everyone is low. It doesn't even trade out. I think that was the arcane comment that just came through at the end for Jenny A, but here we go. We still continue on mid lane. Suncheng has decided to pay a visit, along with Rokid, ZXC, and False, but no takedown there.
I can't believe that Jenny was able to trade one back after that. Good job there by Bishop, though, to catch Sunny Hills off guard. They had just made a play in the top lane. They had a couple members that were lounging around mid without any backup, and Bishop is able to pull the trigger and capitalize on two pretty crucial takedowns. And is able to shut down that Soraka that had been accruing a bounty, and now is going to give them a lot of control over mid. And they can start to fight for these objectives. Broke it, though. He stayed too long. Now he's in.
And this is certainly problematic. Oh, but the healing and the sustain is actually going to keep both of them alive. That's absolutely incredible. False going huge on Yumi there to keep everyone up and afloat, but of course Bishop have to fall all the way back.
The annoying factor of Bishop's composition is just how incredibly hard they are to take down with all the healing and the prevention. Now those cooldowns down though.
Cam will go in and pick up one, and immediately the follow-through is going to try to come down. False is dashing over to Champ. He's trying to get on that blast cone and get away, and here's Jenny A battling with Kaku there. ZXC is trying to help with his low. Oh, Kaku has gone golden, and it's going to draw the attention of Cam as well, trying to get back out of the turret, and here's the healing and the sustain. Dashing and diving and dancing away is Bishop, managing to step away from that fight, but it will cost them a tower in the top.
Meanwhile, on the top side, Barrick is just whittling away at these structures. Bishop did mount a successful defense of their mid lane turret after losing Rocket, but that one's getting close to falling now. It seems now that they've reset, might actually drop. He's sticking around to make sure that it does. Been getting aggressive. Now Rocket back on the field. Yumi's here to make sure that everybody is topped up on health.
Have to make sure you keep your teammates alive, as Barrick is just going to step in. He's taking a look at that recalling champion, but it just doesn't quite land it in time. That could have absolutely been disastrous, but here we go. The chase is on through the jungle. Sunny Hills trying to catch out this Rek'Sai in the bottom lane. And here we go. The crash is on. Jenny A is here trying to apply the damage, and 4 members of Sunny Hills are here. The turret falls, and so does ZXC.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what ZXC was doing there, trying to defend the tier 1 turret that had about 100 HP, especially while he didn't have backup. And there was the dragon on the table, so he's going to go down for that one. Sunny Hills, they're feeling really great at this point. They're walking forward.
Here we go. Javine has gone absolutely crazy there, taking down Kaku as well on that set. And it's just the individual picks from Sunny Hills. They're so strong.
And they're not really turning them into objectives at first, but the objectives always come later. You can already see them putting pings down onto the Rift Herald. This one isn't going to stick around forever. Just before 20 minutes, it does despawn to make way for the Baron buff. So Sunny Hills already grouping around. They are doing their due diligence. They're making sure they clear out vision. They take that Scuttle Crab, make sure everything is set up and ready to go before they trigger the objective. DXC will spot this one out.
Yes, DXC.
Never falter.
Working with that sweeper, trying to establish some vision in this area. Bishop knows the presence from Sunny Hill is strong on that side. Just trying to remove some of that vision advantage, but you can see on the mini-map, if you look, where those pings are coming out. There are 3 wards set up there for Sunny Hill, so they are going to have the vision advantage, and they are going to try and take this Herald very quickly and see if they can do it in time.
It doesn't look like ZXC is even going to try to take this one. Just throws the Phrase Seeker over the wall, and that's going to be it. Another objective will be secured by Sunny Hills. And Barrick even gets a large amount of chunk damage onto the structure as well. He's trying to steal away some farm. Will he get out in time? Does get Shilling smited.
Oh, but here we go,
on the ultimate.
Doing a good job there. Trying to turn this around, but there are still 3 actually making the whole team down there. But he still stays alive. Barrick manages to get by, and Sunshine is arriving with reinforcements. Here we go, Barrick going absolutely massive again, trying to get after him, trying to go in. Javina's help Barrick, who is unstoppable at this point. He picks up a double, make it a triple.
What in the world, Barrick? You can't do that. That was a disgusting show of how powerful Aatrox can be in his team fights. Barrick on the edge of going down, pops the ultimate, he turns around, so much sustained lifesteal coming through from that death stance, plus the passive, and no grievous wounds, not even the ignite being used from Pulse to cut through any of that, and he's able to just buy so much time. He's going to try to do it again, 1v2. DXC whittling him down.
Rocket is here as well, but look at the
right?
sustain on Barrick. He's going to force a flash out of ZXC, trying to do more, trying to do whatever he can. But it ultimately will be enough. That is the shutdown. But it allows Sunny Hills. They do take the Baron.
Although I don't think he needed to go down, he does get his team the Baron. So at least you can say something about his sacrifice. First takedown of the game. First time going down this game. Barrick was previously undefeated, and it is going to be unfortunate that they don't have the Baron buff on their split pusher. Barrick has done a phenomenal job this game of creating pressure on opposite sides of the map from the fight or just the objective, utilizing his TP advantage when he has it. So you won't be able to do that as effectively when he doesn't have the Baron buff. But they still also have the option of, hey, we're 12,000 gold ahead. We could just march down mid lane, win any fight if Bishop were foolish enough to pick one, and just break open the base. And here we go.
Well, that may be the direction they decide to go. Is Jamil will go in. Oh, but look at the Uni ultimate as well from Roken. He's actually going to pick up Jenny A, and he's going big on the Kindred as well. Slim Shim's on a killing spree. As we follow up now with, again, Cam coming to spin to win the Wukong, and will not quite find it, though. Sun Cheng picks up a double. Here we go now, Cam isolated. On the one-on-one is slaying Roken, and the follow-up on Uni as well. If he so decides, Barrick there for reassurance. It's a double for Cam. An ace for Sunny Hills.
Yeah, it looked like Bishop might have a hope at first, but that was before Barrick and Cam decided to join the fight. They're going to march down mid, massive gold lead for this game 1 victory. 12, or now up to 14,000 ahead. Don't even need the Dragon Soul or the Elder Dragon to take this one down. And this is an incredible performance by Sunny Hills, where it looks like Bishop is going to respawn in time to actually defend this one. So we'll see a couple more minutes of gameplay, but Sunny Hills are definitely looking like they're in a powerful position to take over this game as they retreat to pick up their Cloud Soul.
Yes, and that soul will almost certainly be uncontested. Bishop will not be able to get the resources down there to take another fight in the Dragon area, so it will be the Cloud Soul over at Sunny Hills. And it's just been an absolute runaway freight train here for Sunny Hills. They have found every avenue that they could off of really, really good play. I mean, from Barrick, but also, you know, Cam, I think, as well, and that Wukong has really done a good job of going in and following up. You can see, again, on the scoreboard as well, Javine on the set as well, 13 assists. So, you know, getting those knockups and doing everything you can to help your team get ahead. They're just playing really well all together.
They're also being really benefited by the fact that Bishop have still yet to buy any Grievous Wounds. They do have the double ignite currently, thanks to the Summoner Spellbook from Champ, but item-wise, none of their players have even started itemizing towards Grievous Wounds. We see half of a Morelos for Kaku, but it's about it. Brock had actually just finished the second Zeal in his inventory, so rather than finish an item and then go towards Grievous Wounds, he decided to start his next item after this Zeal. It's going to give him some more raw damage right now, but it'll be risky. They found Soraka.
And, well, here's the issue as Ginable will golden off the engagement roadkit, but here we go. Barrick is absolutely crazy, and you can just see the damage output is all over the place. Suncheng is unstoppable as well. It's an ace for Sunny Hills. And that will just about do it here. That middle inhibitor is open. And this Sunny Hills squad will take it straight through to the heart of the Nexus.
And this is a lesson in why Grievous Wounds is so important, especially against champions that have direct built-in heals. Sunny Hills are going to take this one fairly convincingly, under 30 minutes, just shy of 26. They finish off the Nexus here. They're going to be going on to Game 2. Series point here for Sunny Hills as they look to take home the Grand Finals Championship.
Yes, they absolutely will, and what a very convincing game from Sunny Hills here. They went absolutely berserk, I mean, across all areas of the map. We even saw straight away they came out with a statement, level 1. We're going to send all 5 members straight through to the top lane. They get the 2 early picks, and it just never really stopped.
It was very easy for them, especially after they got that level 1 advantage. Let's not forget about the level 1 where Soraka got a massive influx of gold. I believe a takedown and an assist, plus the top lane. And those were really the 2 lanes that we saw were the most successful for them. Was Barrick in his constant split pushing, and Jenny just putting Champ at such a disadvantage that he could not defend really anywhere. So I think that level 1 had a lot to do with the success. Obviously, they utilized it very well, and that they extended their advantage. But in game number 2, if the level 1 goes a bit more standard and everybody spreads out, there's no 5 stacks, then maybe we see a different scenario where you don't have that advantage right out of the gate.
No, we'll have to see what the answer is for Bishop Montgomery, because they had problems in a lot of different areas of the map, really, and it was so difficult to stop Sunny Hills. Again, we talk about the level 1, but also the composition as well from Sunny Hills, very non-standard, right? You had a Senna set bottom lane with the set actually, being the farming, damage champion. So very, very interesting stuff in game 1, and if you're Bishop Montgomery, I'm not sure what you can do to try and turn that around.
I think you just have to come at it with a fresh slate, even if you want to come up with a new composition, but I think that the fundamentals were the reason they lost the game. In game number 1, you have to make sure that you check for 5 stacks at level 1. You have to, spread out correctly. You have to ward correctly. If you are diligent, you should be able to spot out any crazy invades that come in and at least be able to flash away in the worst case scenarios. And you need to be building grievous wounds against teams with heavy lifesteal or sustain. At the end of the game, 25 minutes in, we still had not seen a single champion build one, and ignites weren't even being used in fights. So I think that if the players can maybe get over some of the potential stage fright, I don't know exactly what it is. We are in the grand finals, but as long as they can shore up some of those fundamentals that I know and they know that they have, and make sure that they are executing these team fights, I think that they have a great shot, because macro-wise and game sense-wise, they did look to be keeping pace.
Well, we will see how these teams respond. We have game number 2 coming up next. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be taking a break here for just a moment at PlayVS. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
One of the greatest things is getting an email about how excited a parent is that their student is involved and is having a great time and wants to talk about their esports experience. I've always been a gamer. I usually wanted to play the single-player role-playing games and the WoW and StarCraft. I didn't really know a lot about esports. I didn't realize the extent of how large it was. Our athletic director walked into my office. He's like, just watch this video. It was a promo reel that said, esports is coming or something, games to be announced, and it was this hype video. And I was like, we have to do this. He's like, I don't have a coach. I was like, oh, when do we start? How do we do this? I would say that I'm actually stepping into the students' field. This was especially the case in season 0 and 1 with the seniors who had been playing for years. I was there to coach in the sense of be an organizer, be an encourager, be there to try and instill the elements of sportsmanship and athletic conduct. But I know and recognize that some of these players know more about these sports than I do. And I can let them be teachers as well to the new kids. And so having that relationship, that partnership with those students has been really important. It's been really exciting to be on the beginning of this program, to say, let's see what happens and see where it goes and learn along the way, and have an outlet for students who have many different interests, but maybe this one aspect of what they love doing hasn't really been given an outlet yet. And to say, we know you love all these other sports, but you're also really talented at this, or you want to be talented at this, and you can. And there's an avenue for that. The reception from parents has been fun in its own right. Parents say esports, like, what is this, video gaming? And the answer is, yeah, it is. That's the entry point. But I'd love for you to come to practice, or check out some of these videos and these stats, and let me show you the difference that we're trying to create here. When a parent comes and sees a game, specifically like League of Legends, from start to finish and goes, I had no idea that that's the level of intensity and the level of dedication that it takes to play one game, and the endurance that it takes to do this and to communicate as a team. Like, I had no idea. Seeing that reception and that flip is really exciting, because then they're all in. It's been interesting to see the elements of other traditional sports: communication skills, sportsmanship, conduct, planning, strategy, skill, and mental athleticism. All of these things feed into creating an esports program and creating students into athletes. It's just been really fun to watch them progress really fast by having that team dynamic to fall upon.
It's not just the ships, the armor, or aircraft. It's the will to fight. and determination to win found inside every Marine. Battles won.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Play vs California Cup. I am Perino. I am joined by my co-host Audio, and we just witnessed a nearly flawless game from Sunny Hills. Huge performance from them in game one, and they'll be looking to roll it into game number 2.
Yeah, interesting game. We saw an incredibly weird draft, or I always say weird, but unusual draft from both sides, where there was Soraka mid, we saw the farming Senna, we saw Karma mid. There's kind of all over the place. I'll be curious as to what the second game is going to look like, because I don't think we'll go back to a lot of those picks. They don't feel like meta picks that you can consistently find wins with. They feel like back pocket picks that you pull out to grab a cheeky win, which is exactly what happened. And I think going into game 2, we'll probably see a bit more of a standard draft. So these teams will be playing a style they are more comfortable with, they are more practiced on, and I think we could see completely different teams from both sides.
I think that is a reasonable assumption, but of course the counter argument to that is, well, you have to try and expect the unexpected as well. So Sunny Hills may go right back to it. In theory, if it worked for game 1, it may work again in game 2, but we'll see how that goes. We will have that draft coming up shortly. We do have those players set up and good to go in the lobby. But for Montgomery, or excuse me, for Bishop Montgomery, I really do think that, one of the things they have to do is they have to get Rokid online. You started to see it towards the end of that game there on that Kindred, working with the Yuumi as well. The damage output was starting to get there, but it just was not enough to stem the tide. I think if they want to win the next game, and then potentially even a game 3, if they can push it that far, I think they have to get their AD carry online.
I think they need to put Rokid on something that he can actually play lane on. Kindred is not a standard marksman in the current meta, and there's good reasons why. She has horrible range early on, and even in jungle, she's known as pretty weak early game until she can get a couple of those stacks under her belt. And you have severely limited access to those stacks when you are tied to a lane to actually just pick up the farm, the CS that is going through that lane. So I don't like the Kindred pick, and I'd love to see Rokid on something else that he can actually have some agency on and play the lane the way he wants to.
Again, we saw that his Ezreal was taken away in one of the first set of bans prior to game 1, so I do think Sunny Hills will continue to attack that angle. I don't think they'll let him play Ezreal, but there are so many options for the AD carry position, especially now, with the recent, I'm not going to say huge buffs because they're not huge, but recent AD carry buff, it has allowed a couple of different champions to really excel there, and you definitely have some choices. I agree. I think you got to switch off the Kindred and into something different, because I think the Yuumi's strong, right? The Yuumi's definitely a good idea, but you got to put Yuumi on someone who can carry
the draft phase again, unless I actually think there's no excuse for the Yuumi to go through once again. I think the Yuumi is an obligatory red side ban. If you're on blue side, it doesn't get banned, you first pick it, and if you're on red side, you ban it. Unless you know that the enemy team just straight out can't play the Yuumi, I think it's too strong of a pick right now to let go through. Unless you have a plan to deal with it. There wasn't a plan to deal with it last game. They didn't build grievous wounds. They didn't really use their ignites in any of the fights. So if you are comfortable with letting this one through, then you have to put countermeasures to stop it. But I think the smart play is to just take it off the table altogether.
We will see the decisions that each team will make here as our draft is ready to go. We're going to be pulling up the board here for you now, as we'll see, of course, Bishop Montgomery in the blue, Sunny Hills now on the red side. And
I actually agree with chat right now. I think Ornn is the logical first pick for Bishop Montgomery if it is not banned away. I think Ornn gives you a ton of options. You can flex him around to 3 different roles, top, mid, and support. He gives you great late game scaling. Even if he himself is falling behind, just getting the access to level up your allies' items is super important. And he offers a lot of consistent engage. So I think most teams, or I think all teams should really prioritize him. We'll see what Bishop Montgomery does, though. You called out that Ezreal ban won't be going over to Rocket. Let's see what he actually picks up as Akali will join the ban table for Sunny Hills.
Yes, Akali's an interesting one. We haven't really seen too much Akali play here on PlayVS in general. I wonder if that is a setup into something that Sunny Hills is going to pull out of their back pocket, as we can see, the bans continue to come through. So Bishop Montgomery sticking with their game plan. This is exactly how they went in game 1 with their first ban phase, and Sunny Hills will close it with the Zac. So yeah, sticking to the game plan here, Bishop Montgomery. I do have to respect it.
And it's going to be the Rek'Sai locked in for the first pick for Bishop Montgomery, making sure ZXC has a aggressive jungler. Gotta say, wasn't impressed by his game 1 performance. Left a lot to desire. We'll see what he can do this time around as the Aatrox and the Fiddlesticks will go through over to Sunny Hills.
Yes, the Aatrox coming back, I think, is very strong for Barak. We've seen it a few times now today. Aatrox can be an absolute game changer, but he will be countering the top lane with that Nasus pick, so that'll be something to look at for top lane, because now you have that big scaling champion to go against.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a solo queue top lane for False. Is just going to be looking to scale up. He is going to sit himself on an island, say, junglers, please don't gank here. And if they do, he should just back off, and he's going to be looking to just bonk some minions all game long. And Nasus has been one of the best performing top laners in solo queue, at least up until you get to high masters challengers. He starts to fall off quite a bit, but definitely a tear at this level, and accompanied by some reliable engage to go alongside the Rek'Sai is Lissandra. Lots of synergy in those two champions to jump into a fight quickly, group up a bunch of people, burst themselves down, and then just get out.
As we take a look now, as the second set of bans was complete, Bishop Montgomery took away the Set and the Nautilus, so targeting that support role there. Sunny Hills, meanwhile, going after the bottom lane as well with Tarek and Caitlyn. So here we go again. We have a TF taken here by Bishop Montgomery, so no true
I'm excited for this one. This is probably going to be the AD hybrid Twisted Fate that we've seen. It's a combination of Triforce, Rapid Fire Cannon, and Gunblade to give him a lot of range, a lot of CC with his gold card, reliable CC, and then the attack speed actually gives quite a bit of odd hit damage. So you kind of come more of a single target CC boss, more than anything. And I think it's a strong pick that kind of rounds out their comp. They've got a ton of lockdown, a ton of global. They're planning to be very mobile around the map and never really get locked down to one place. On the other side, those Sunny Hills, they want to fight. They want to get grouped up. They want to find places where they can, once again, use Barak to just go crazy in a backline, get a bunch of healing. Cam, the same thing. So we see two very conflicting styles here. One where Bishop Montgomery wants to split the map, and one where Sunny Hills wants to pull everyone in. It's going to be up to the teams to find out which one's going to be successful.
Sunny Hills was very successful in Game 1. Can they repeat the success in Game 2? That is what we are all here and ready to see, is these players getting on the Rift. I'm sure we are just waiting on the delay here so we can follow up behind them just as well. And yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be really fun. I'm interested to see the jungle matchup, actually, in particular, with Fiddlesticks and Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai, of course, we mentioned having, a ton of mobility across the map, able to get around. But Fiddlesticks can be very effective as well, especially, with his clearance speed. He can do some double clears in spots and really get himself going. But away we go.
Fiddlesticks will have a really great early clear. He has a lot of sustain in the jungle as he can siphon health off multiple enemies at once. And The unique thing about Fiddlesticks, although he doesn't have a lot of burst damage in this new iteration of his kit, he does have very good disengage. So if ZXC were to get aggressive in the jungle, he might be able to just find the Fiddlesticks and burst him down, but more than likely, Cam's just going to look at him, he's going to press Q, and ZXC is going to be forced to walk away from him slowly. And Cam's just going to be able to escape. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Rek'Sai tries to get aggressive and steal away camps, but I think that's about the extent that you can do in the jungle if you are the Rek'Sai, because if Cam plays it correctly, he shouldn't really be in any danger.
So we can see a pretty default setup coming out of Sunny Hills, of course. Jenny A on that Diana, making a step up. Please looking deep for another, so there'll be some vision as both junglers will start on their bottom side, but the Sunny Hills bot lane electing not to go for the leash, so they'll be slightly ahead starting out.
Yep, they will be. Rek'Sai has a very fast early clear, loves getting out for those early ganks. Get both junglers starting on the bottom side. Means you may see them meet up for the scuttle. You can already see the champ has gone in for some deep vision. They know now that Cam is starting on the bottom side. I love this from both squads, actually, both mid laners walking up to check those camps.
Yeah, so you can see the opposite wards there, and each jungle is Jenny's going to try and get that dash on Diana, but Champ will punish a little bit. A bit of extended trade will go Champ's way. And you can see already that, the range versus melee, classic matchup in the mid lane, causing some problems early here, perhaps for Sunny Hills.
Yeah, Jenny, I don't think he really wanted to push that one up. You see the bottom lane, Rogue gets off a stun. But, Jenny definitely pre-6 does not have a lot of kill threat onto Champ. Champ is just going to be able to poke him in that lane, constantly shove the lane. And because Jenny did go in and push that wave a little bit, get frozen. Here comes ZXC from behind.
Oh,
no! Where did that come from? He's able to tunnel
in from the jungle
behind with his turret. Absolutely bonkers play there from the ZXC, as he's able to find first takedown for his team into his pocket nonetheless, and now he's going to have a lot more agency moving around the map. So he can actually start to solo down anybody that he might catch him.
And the other part that we didn't, get a chance to see there as that was happening in the top lane, Barrick nearly found the solo takedown to Kaku. Kaku was on a sliver of health. But now here comes the gank, and the flash in from Cam is good. There's the answer for Bishop. Or excuse me, there's the answer for Sunny Hills.
Kaku just needs to be a bit more respectful from that. If you are the Nasus and you're that low of health, you just gotta admit that, hey, their jungler might be nearby. I don't have the vision to stay here and pick up this wave. You just have to go back to base. But now the teleport coming in.
Oh boy, here we go. Barrick is coming in for the top lane as well, the teleport. And that is a huge one. Soonchang finds ZXC, and Rook is trying to get up but cannot get away. Jenny A is going to come in and pick that one up. And now Champ is on the run as Lissandra. Javine trying to close the gap. Will land the CC, and Champ has no chance. Javine takes that one down. And just like that, Sunny Hills making the plays.
Couple more takedowns in their pockets, and now you've got their scaling champions starting to build those items. You see Jenny coming back to lane with the Catalyst, able to spam those abilities all that much more. I expect Soonchang to pick up the BF sword. There it is. And now things are looking great for them to start to pressure these early objectives. Rift Herald spawning in 3 minutes. The Dragon currently on the table, and with bot and mid priority, as well as the jungler being up pretty considerably, matching in takedowns, but up 20 farm. I don't think there's any reason that Sunny Hills wouldn't be able to just take control of this Dragon and try to get some early objectives for themselves. As long as they put up some good vision first. The only way that I could see that play going wrong is if ZXC or Champ was able to find a flank angle. But neither of these teams really want to start that objective up quite yet. They're taking this one slow, making sure they get wave control first.
Uh-oh. Here comes Jen A lurking in the jungle. Oh, she's gonna fall over the blast cone as well. The ZXC tried to get away, but only took the threat along with them for the ride over the wall.
And that changes things. Now with the jungler down, there's really nothing stopping Sunny Hills from starting up this Inferno Drake. Cam is going to have no problem taking this one up with all of the healing he has. And there's nobody really to stop him. You can see Bishop not even moving to defend this one. They're just going to be happy to collect their farm into the turret.
Red team has slain the dragon.
That will be the first dragon of the game, going the way of Sunny Hills. They had pressed their advantage in the right places, made that one about as free as it can be. We'll see how they continue to work their advantage through this game. You can see Barrack, a ton of pressure topside, looking for the
ZXC has come down. He spotted out. They don't know Fiddlesticks is there, though.
Oh, but look at that! The binding on Morgana is so good. Cam finds the credit there, but Javine is OP, landing that dark binding, and here we go once again. Little trying to get them damage, falls to so low. Oh, but look at, here comes Champ and Lissandra trying to go after Sunshang on Aphelios, who will turn it around. Javine actually picks up another, going absolutely crazy there in the bottom lane.
Incredible from Sunshang, bringing the cleanse along. Clutch use of it on the Lissandra ultimate to back up and still put out the DPS needed to win that fight. And both junglers wanted to get the bottom lane, but they had lost track of where Cam was on the map. Didn't know he was there. Oh my word, Eric. Okay, he just flashes forward, gonna find a solo kill. Once again, Cuckoo overstaying there. And there seems to be some communication starting to break down for Bishop. Hopefully they can find a place soon to start to right this ship, because 5,000 gold down, not even at the 10-minute mark. Things are looking dire. Even Cam starting to steal away the jungle. Oh, DXC, he can't get anything. He's just gonna try to take the scuttle before he goes down.
Well, he does manage to find the scuttle, and he's going to at least slow Barrack down, but we're just chasing the inevitable there. Barrack will pick that up off the screen as we can see the engagement in the bot lane. There are 3 members here. Sunjin picks up one. It's going to be a flash and falls just to try and get away, try and stay alive. Game steps off for just a second as Sunjin flashes in, pops the ultimate, but it's not enough. Would have been incredible if it had been finished out, but damage is not quite there on the Aphelios just yet. Barrack going back in on Cuckoo. He's actually doing a pretty good job here of at least staying upright, staying even.
So in this lane, the Nasus hard loses until a certain magical point when he hits a decent number of stacks, where he just starts turning around and bonking the Aatrox. And there's really nothing the Aatrox can do about this. So 204 up 20 CS is a very dominant lead, but you can already see right there in that 1v1 with Cuckoo popping the ultimate, was able to deal a considerable amount of damage back. With the Sheen procs, those Qs are really starting to hurt.
Mind you, Barrack does not have his flash available to him, so there's no flash W available yet. As Javine lands another binding there on the Morgana. He's been very good at picking those out in lane. Of course, his friend the 80 carry, not quite there yet. It's almost landing another nice one to Rokid, but
yeah, I love the itemization from Javine as well. And Barrack, he's gonna catch out Cuckoo. Oh. No ultimate to save him this time. And yeah, he's gonna fall. Rocket flashing away from a binding.
Here we go. It's a 4-man dive in the bottom lane. It is going to be a pure double for Jenny A. Diving in on Diana. Cam has to flash away from the turret.
Even a beautiful juggling of the turret aggro from Sunny Hills there at the end of the play. Sunshang, this man's on another level right now. This entire team is. One takedown across the entire team. That one's on Javine, but I mean, just immaculate play from all sides. Shavine putting the binding in the perfect spot. Cam saving the stopwatch until the last moments. They're continually bullying Nasus from the top side. This is just complete domination from the Sunny Hill squad. And Bishop, they're looking for a miracle at this point because there is nothing, it seems, that they can do to slow this train.
Train is on the tracks and it's been rolling Sunny Hill's way. The first 11 minutes of the game already, I mean, we could talk a lot about it, all the different metrics. I mean, they're ahead in gold, they're ahead in objectives, they're ahead in takedowns. They've almost knocked down that bottom turret before the plating has even fallen, so certainly a commendable performance from them. But here we go, here's a play for Bishop trying to turn this around. It is 2v1 in the top lane. Barrett turns that aside. Now here we go, Sunny Hills with regression into bot lane. Boss is trying to go to get away, but he just cannot. Barrett manages to pick one on the top side as well. And just like that, Sunny Hills finds 2 takedowns and a dragon to go along with it.
And they continue their dominance. They have complete control around the objectives with Vision. And there's really nothing they can do. Cuckoo, just after teleporting to lane, is taken down to half HP by Barrett. And now he's going to get dove once again. Has to flash away. Barrett will retreat for now, but this is just almost sad to watch at this point. Sunny Hills is so far ahead. Allow them to do things like this. Jenny is going to fall one traded back over to Bishop Montgomery, but see if they can get 2.
Here we go on the top side. Barrack trying to 1v2, but that will not be enough. ZXC on the rec side getting it done there, so there is somewhat of an answer for Bishop, but I agree, there's just so much mounting pressure. I mean, the bot turret has already fallen. The middle turret almost gone. The top turret almost gone. You know, objectives have gone the way of Sunny Hills. It's hard to really stop because if you look at the takedowns, they're all across the board. It's not just one lane or one player being really ahead. It's everyone on Sunny Hills.
Madness don't stay here. He's going to go down too. And just as I was about to applaud him for, you know, starting to pick up some of these waves and actually doing a lot of damage to these team fights, he does stay a bit too long and gets caught out. At this point, though, Cuckoo, like it or not, is probably the last remaining win condition for Bishop. They did get a lot of shutdown gold in that last fight, which was a big way for them to start to equalize this difference. But they really don't have any true scaling, any true carry champions to overcome the difference that they're at, except for Nasus. If he is able to get to a considerable amount of stacks, which that would require a serious lapse of aggression from Sunny Hills, then maybe Bishop have a chance, but at this point you're looking at a Hail Mary of a play for Bishop to be able to buy enough time for that to happen.
I agree. The issue is just that everyone is so strong on Sunny Hills. We see Jenny in the top lane going after Cuckoo, trying to shut down that Nasus is diving in on the E, but we'll take a shot from the turret, so forced to back off as the rest of this Bishop squad, they're going to group in the middle, try and find where Sunny Hills are going. But here's the thing. Sunny Hills are going to try and take this Rift Herald. If Bishop can contest, they may make a play here. Here comes ZXC on the rec side, and Champs is in on Lissandra as well. Of course, Bard using his ability to freeze up that Rift Herald so they can't take it. Now Bishop is on it for themselves. They want to steal this away. The Cam's going to jump over the wall. As the fiddle, he is unstoppable as he manages to find the enemy jungle. Soon King picks one up as well. Shavine follows through. And it's Sunny Hills all the way there. The double, of course, for Soon Chang. Make it an ace, because why not? Sunny Hills running riot.
Yeah, you said it best. I'm not even quite sure why Bishop decided to pick that moment to go in for their fight. They didn't have ultimates on Twisted Fate, Nasus, or Bard when starting that one off, which is a bit unfortunate, but you know, we talked. They got to go for the Hail Mary play at the end of the day. We talked about how little opportunities are going to be presented at this much of a deficit. So I do give kudos to them for trying to go for the first play available to them, because they don't know that's going to be their last chance. But it doesn't work out. They are going to be taken down by Sunny Hills, and that's going to be more standing gold collected. We now just have one remaining outer turret defended by Cuckoo, who is once again doing a lot of damage in these fights despite his lack of items. But man, is that some damage.
I was just about to say, I didn't even have time to interject there, as we saw the output from Sunchang on the Aphelios along with Jenny's Diana. It's just, and poor ZXC is just trying to just clear some of his camps in the jungle, but I mean, look at the vision for Sunny Hills. They've been able to press so far up. They can catch anyone out at any point. Nowhere is safe on the Rift, really. And now, I think Sunny Hills, I think they just go for the Dragon and they just wait for either the Baron or the Soul, realistically, right? Just to close this out.
Yeah, the nice thing about Sunny Hills' composition with a Diana and Aphelios is you do not have to really accelerate the gameplay at this point. You do have to keep the Nasus in mind and the farm he's picking up, but he's so far behind at this point as Barrick is about to demonstrate that it doesn't really matter.
Barrick will get into the slap
Big
fest
liar,
with
Barrick.
tries to flash away, but it's no good. Barrick finds a takedown there. Sunny Hills take the Dragon, and away they go. They press ever further forward through that middle lane and through the bottom, as Barrick will try the 1v1 against Champ as well.
And if Cuckoo was not so far behind at this point, I actually think Sunny Hills would be forced to play this game much more aggressively and devote a lot of resources to shutting down that Nasus, because, like I said, he is the one hope for this comp right now, but because he's so far behind, they have the confidence to just do things like this and dive the base whenever they want.
CGV landing the dark fighting as well. It's going to be followed up by Jenny. The flash over the wall. YGV going to try and pick up more. Cam flashing in as well under the tower to pick that one up. That will earn him the double, as they will wait for this wave to hit the turret. All 5 members crashing through this middle lane now.
If Cuckoo doesn't go back to defend this, they might be able to end. Still 10 seconds left on anybody else. Oh no, Cuckoo, he's stayed in lane to farm. This is going to be the end of it all. Sunny Hills will be walking away your grand finals. The last minute mistake by the top laner. The Baldur ultimate, is it going to be enough time to stop it? The Nexus is going to go down, and wow, what a way to finish out that game.
If Game 1 was convincing, Game 2 was a statement, but congratulations to Sunny Hills, the Lancers Gold Squad. They are your Play versus California Cup champions. Such an incredible performance by them. Have to say, they really came out and earned it in this grand final.
They definitely did. Those were 2 fairly convincing games, like you said, where it just felt like they had all the answers. And you know, when you're looking across, I don't think that they, you know, it wasn't just an outclass in raw talent. It was the fact that they very well played around their map as well. They knew what lanes they had strengths in and what lanes they had weaknesses in, and they were able to really effectively utilize those strengths to always fight when they had an advantage and never fight when they didn't.
Absolutely. And the thing that impressed me the most, especially about Game 2, was just how effective everyone was, right? It wasn't as though it was just one player or one particular position really going nuts. It was everyone. I mean, you saw Javine on the Morgana, you know, landing those dark bindings and, you know, picking up the takedowns on the W. I mean, Jesse on the Diana diving in. You know, they were Sunny Hills. They were really all over the map all the time, and it was everyone. You know, that's why you could see a game end in just about 20 minutes like that, where, you know, when everyone is so far ahead, it's next to impossible to stop.
I think BMHS showed a lot of potential here today up against Sunny Hill, and I think if this squad goes back and works for a little bit longer and polishes out some of those fundamentals, they can be a competitive team. And I would look for them to return to the finals next year and try to take away Sunny Hill's crown. This is starting to be a blossoming rivalry that we're seeing here right before our eyes, born at the 2020 California Cup, and hopefully it'll go on to a grander place.
As well, we will get a word in from our victorious Sunny Hills squad. I believe we have Gavin coming up in just a moment. We're just getting that sorted for you guys in just a second, but he'll be joining us in a moment. We'll get some insight as to how this grand final was able to be played out the way that it was. But yeah, I agree that there's no shame in coming in second place, right? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, there are still so many other teams that Bishop Montgomery, had to claw their way through to get to this point. I think they really did play well overall. I think they just sort of ran into it right at the very end, and that's a tough spot to be in.
It is, and they're still going to go home with an invite back to more PlayVS events, so they will get to continue to refine their skills, and we'll get to see more games from them, which is always great. But they'll also go home with, I believe, new peripherals for all their players. So this is definitely a win in their books, and I can't wait to see more.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be bringing Gavin into the call with us here on the desk. How you doing? Feeling good?
Pretty good. Yeah, it's exciting to
Congratulations!
Exciting to finally get to the end of this tournament. It's been obviously it was an accelerated tournament, but we played in the other PlayVS leagues as well, so it's been a long season.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit about your squad and kind of the journey you guys went through to get to where you are right now?
Yeah, so the it's been definitely a long year. We played both semesters, obviously, when we're used to playing just a single semester. We started out since we had a strong roster last year, but we lost our mid lane and jungle. So obviously those roles being very key to a functioning team, we had to find replacements quickly, and thankfully our mid lane had just transferred from another high school to Sunny Hills, so we got to pick him up on our roster. He was very eager to join, and we looked for a new jungler, and while he was more hesitant at first, when he got to kind of learn about how cool it is to get to play in leagues like PlayVS, he seemed a lot more enthusiastic, and he ended up joining us. So we've come a long way since then. We started out with very small champion pools. We were, not playing very much, but with the help of our coach and the practice that we've done over the year, we've probably expanded our champion pool like tenfold. It's crazy.
That's so incredible awesome to hear. I want to ask, about the game itself. You're playing, in that support role. You talk about diverse champion pools. Tell me a little bit, about the work you've put into Morgana, because I thought you really shined, especially game number 2 on the Morgana, landing some of those dark bindings. Just, what's the kind of practice that you've put in to, excel in that role?
So for support specifically, it's so flexible this season that you kind of have to be able to play a whole lot of different things, from, farming set, which is, totally foreign, in previous seasons. Stuff like Soraka is popping back up, and then you also have the engaged champions as well. So with support being so diverse, I have to put a lot of games into different champions. Our coach specifies which characters he wants us to play and to practice on the most, depending on what he thinks is going to pop up on the meta. So it's a lot of ranked games, a lot of Smurf games in ranked, and then a lot of normal games as well. A lot of practice tool and watching videos and guides. So it's not just me, it's a lot of the resources, available online and such, as well as our coach, help us to kind of excel at our champions. Morgana's kind of like a pocket pick for me. I used to play her a lot. I kind of one-tricked her a couple seasons ago, so I have some prior experience on her, but I haven't played her as much this season because she's not as popular of a pick, but she's a really good neutralizing pick where she can kind of nullify certain team comps when they pick too much CC.
Now, Gavin, you guys are in a very unique area of the esports industry, being in the high school division. Can you give us some insight as to what your guys' workflow looks like during the school year?
Yeah, so obviously, just like a traditional sport, having schoolwork on top of an extracurricular, especially esports, because as you know, people spend a lot of time playing this game. So in order to match their progress, you have to play a lot as well. So obviously, we have guys on our team putting in 6-7 hours a day during school, and then on top of that, they have homework. So it can be very overwhelming at times, but I think it all comes down to management and not procrastinating. If you put stuff off, then you can sometimes mess up like scrim schedules and such. We've had issues like that as well, but I think we've become a lot more disciplined over the course of the year, to where it's not so hard to balance our schedule, but at times it gets in the way. We tend to practice like we do scrims like once or twice every week versus different teams, and we also do flex queue a lot together. So that's kind of what summarizes our practice.
Wow, that's incredible. You guys put in so much time and effort. It's incredible what you're able to do on the stage. Who's the hardest working member of the team?
Hardest working member? Gosh, that's tough. Yeah, I'm not sure what they would answer if I asked them. I guess I hear ADC Sunsheng. I think he plays the most consistently generally. But everyone obviously has their on and off times. Even I've done it myself. You get burned out of League if you play it all day, every day.
Of course, I'm just ripping with you. I'm glad to see that the support would choose the ADC. Shows the synergy, you guys.
Yeah. I feel like that'll be the least damaging if I answer that.
Thank you so much, Gavin. Congratulations on your guys' win. Best of luck to all of your tournaments and your practice going forward.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for allowing us to participate in this league. Thank you.
And that was Gavin from Sunny Hills High School. You may know him better as Javine on the Summoner's Rift there. And yeah, you love to hear that, the teamwork within the squad, being able to pick up new players through the season, and work your way to this point, where you can come into a grand final and just dominate. It shows the time and effort that they put in. I mean, he talked about it there a little bit. 6 to 7 hours a day on top of, your regular classwork and other things that you do. Like, that is a commitment and a half, and it showed.
Yeah, I have the utmost respect for these athletes that, put time into perfecting their crafts. You got to think that these, are kids figuring out where they're going to be in life, and they put a lot of time to a lot of activities, and it's really incredible they're able to perform at this level so consistently and for us, and that they have a platform to do so. So thank you so much to PlayVS and to all of our sponsors.
Yes, and speaking of our sponsors, we want to give a special shout out to Omen and NVIDIA. They are proud to support the CIF Esports Initiative. Elevate your game with groundbreaking gameplay and powerful accessory. New Omen PCs powered by NVIDIA RTX graphics make it easy to win now and upgrade later to always stand top of your game. For more information, you can visit omen.com. And ladies and gentlemen, that will just about do it for us here on the desk and here on PlayVS. Again, my name is Perino. That is my co-host, Audio. It has been our absolute pleasure to have you with us. Congratulations to all that have participated today, and I cannot wait to see you again in the fall, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll catch you later.
One of the greatest things is getting an email about how excited a parent is that their student is involved and is having a great time and wants to talk about their esports experience. I've always been a gamer. I usually wanted to play the single-player role-playing games in the WoW and StarCraft. I didn't really know a lot about esports. I didn't realize the extent of how large it was. Our athletic director walked into my office. He's like, just watch this video. It was a promo reel that said, esports is coming or something, games to be announced, and it was this hype video. And I was like, we have to do this. He's like, I don't have a coach. I was like, oh. When do we start? How do we do this? I would say that I'm actually stepping into the students' field. This was especially the case in season 0 and 1 with the seniors who had been playing for years. I was there to coach in the sense of be an organizer, be an encourager, be there to try and instill the elements of sportsmanship and athletic conduct. But I know and recognize that some of these players know more about these sports than I do. And I can let them be teachers as well to the new kids. And so having that relationship, that partnership with those students has been really important. It's been really exciting to be on the beginning of this program to say, let's see what happens and see where it goes and learn along the way and have an outlet for students who have many, many different interests, but maybe this one aspect of what they love doing hasn't really been given an outlet yet. And to say, we know you love all these other sports, but you're also really talented at this, or you want to be talented at this, and you can. And there's an avenue for that. The reception from parents has been fun in its own right. Parents say esports, like, what is this, video gaming? And the answer is, yeah, it is. That's the entry point. But I'd love for you to come to practice or check out some of these videos and these stats and let me show you the difference that we're trying to create here. When a parent comes and sees a game, specifically like League of Legends, from start to finish and goes, I had no idea that that's the level of intensity and the level of dedication that it takes to play one game and the endurance that it takes to do this and to communicate as a team. Like, I had no idea. Seeing that reception and that flip is really exciting, because then they're all in. It's been interesting to see the elements of other traditional sports, communication skills, sportsmanship, conduct, planning, strategy, skill, and mental athleticism. All of these things feed into creating an esports program and creating students into athletes. It's just been really fun to watch them progress really, really fast by having that team dynamic to fall upon.
It's not just the ships, the armor, or aircraft. It's the will to fight and determination to win, found inside every Marine. Battles won.